On tonight's Wales at 6. 19 years for plotting to murder her husband. This is the moment Michelle Mills and her secret lover were arrested after planning an audacious assassination. Plus, one of a kind. Family and friends come together to remember 14-year-old Kyle, the youngest person in the UK to die from motor neurone disease. Also on the programme tonight, Santa Paws is coming to town. We meet the rescue dogs celebrating Christmas. And
I wish upon that star, the next year will have changed.
Something to sing about. This Wrexham band is using their music to bring some joy and vital funds for charity. Hello, good evening. A wife who plotted to kill her husband is beginning a 19-year prison sentence this evening in what's been described as a cold and calculated plan. Michelle Mills from Llangenech in Carmarthenshire and her lover Geraint Berry hatched the plan in a bid for them to continue their affair. It included Berry and another man bursting in on Christopher Mills wearing ski masks and carrying cable ties and imitation guns. Christopher Mills fought them off, but their plan was to kill him. From Swansea Crown Court, Mike Griffiths has tonight's top story.
Turn around and get on your knees, do it now!
This is the moment police closed in on the man behind a botched murder plot. Here's Geraint Berry apprehended in undergrowth in Kennarth in Carmarthenshire shortly after a violent attack. This man, Christopher Mills, was the target of his plot. On the 20th of September last year, he was confronted by two masked men after answering the door of the caravan he shared with his wife.
I fought them off. I've got the guns. Can we get an armed response team out here now? Emerge immediately.
Though hit in the face with a weapon, he managed to fight them off and raise the alarm. Police tracked the men down nearby, discovering masks, cable ties and a fake suicide note supposedly written by Mr. Mills.
So I'm going to arrest on suspicion of conspiracy to commit murder and kidnapping.
Mr. Mills's wife Ethel, known as Michelle, had been secretly having an affair with Geraint Berry. They'd exchanged multiple texts, plotting different ways to kill her husband. At their trial, they insisted it was nothing more than a fantasy, but they were both convicted of conspiracy to murder.
Sentencing Berry today, the judge, Mr. Justice Nicklin KC, said, however incompetent your plan, your intention was to kill. The steps you took were no fantasy. It was, he said, only down to the remarkable courage and fortitude of Mr. Mills that he survived.
The judge told Michelle Mills she was just as responsible for the plot as Geraint Berry.
The evidence strongly suggests that in the weeks leading up to the attack, you cultivated and exploited Mr. Berry's animosity towards your husband and encouraged him to find a way to get rid of him, not as some fantasy, but in reality.
The second man alongside Geraint Berry was 47-year-old Stephen Thomas. He was cleared of conspiracy to murder, but sentenced to 12 months in prison after previously admitting possessing an imitation firearm. In statements read to the court, Christopher Mills spoke of the lasting physical and psychological effects of the attack.
You know, it's the ultimate betrayal, isn't it? I mean, having an affair is one thing, that's bad. But having an affair and try to murder you, that's even worse, isn't it? That's more than bad, yeah. And the fact that she's still, even now, you know, on the reports today in the court, there's no remorse at all.
Michelle Mills and Geraint Berry both thought they had plotted a meticulous, murderous scheme. Tonight, both are beginning sentences of 19 years in prison. Mike Griffiths, ITV News at Swansea Crown Court.
North Wales Police is urging members of the public to avoid a beach in Gwynedd following landslides. Several properties on Nevin Beach were badly damaged by the landslip. Access to the beach and surrounding footpaths remains closed to the public due to ongoing safety concerns. Next tonight, the owner of two restaurants has been ordered to pay more than £22,000 after inspectors discovered serious hygiene failings. Environmental health officers said the businesses in Cardiff posed an imminent risk to public health. Our reporter Marie-Claire Carey-Jones is outside one of the restaurants for us tonight. Marie-Claire, what more do we know?
Well, the state of the Chennai Dosa restaurant behind me and a Sri Lankan takeaway in Cardiff owned by the same company have been described today as an imminent risk to public health. Now, we're going to show you some pictures in a second, but they come with a warning. If you're having your tea, you might want to look away because they clearly show why the owners were fined more than £20,000. There was mouldy food in one of the kitchens. Food that should have been kept in a fridge was just left out on the worktops. And possibly worse than that, there were mouse droppings across the floors and the food preparation areas. And in the corner of one of the kitchens, they even found a dead mouse. So clear failings in cleanliness. And tonight, experts say that could have caused a health hazard for customers.
Borne illnesses include things like E. coli. It includes things like salmonella, really dependent on the practices and hygiene issues that we find. But ultimately, rodent drop-ins can, of course, cause cross-contamination, which is very serious in terms of public health in hygiene practices.
And Marie-Claire, what food ratings did these premises have?
Well, interestingly, if you look at the window of the restaurant, it says their hygiene rating was 2. But if you look online on the official site, it says they were awaiting a rating. And in September last year, they were asked for paperwork that's needed for a rating. So things like pest control records, staff hygiene training, and none of those records came. Then in December, they gave a full inspection, which is where they found those awful scenes that we saw in the pictures. And at that point, the restaurant behind me was told to close. However, after a deep clean, it was allowed to reopen, but continued failings meant that they were found to be in persistent and serious offences, and that's when the owners were prosecuted.
OK, Marie-Claire Carey-Jones in Cardiff, thank you very much indeed. A beautiful boy. That's how 14-year-old Kyle Shannaski was described today at his funeral in Pontypridd. Kyle died earlier this month from the degenerative condition MND that typically affects adults over 50. Katie Fenton was there and sent us this report.
The mighty roar of 100 motorbikes is what Kyle Shannaski wanted. A fitting testament to a larger-than-life lad, and a tribute these riders were proud to pay.
The family have asked could we take him on his final ride, so this is why you see the boys have turned up to pay respects on his final ride. It's an honour to be here for everybody.
I lose energy faster.
Diagnosed in January, Kyle spent his teenage years in hospital. Every milestone marked at his bedside, every day filled with small joys, like endless games of Connect 4. Kyle's thought to have been the UK's youngest person with motor neurone disease. There is no cure, yet the Shannaskis hoped for a miracle, searching the world for a clinical trial. But last month, hope gave way to the ultimate heartbreak, and Kyle died, aged 14.
I think Kyle was a one-of-a-kind type of person. I've never met anybody who has such an incredible smile, even with the adversity that he went through with MND. He was just incredible. And I mean, you can see that because he came from such a loving family. That certainly rubbed off on him. There are many people that have never met him or the family, but there's just something about his story which has touched so many people.
Grief hasn't stopped this family's fight for others. Today, they asked for donations to the Rob Burrows Centre for Motor Neurone Disease, a facility dedicated to care and research, and a fellow sufferer needing treatment in Germany. As the riders rolled out for Kyle's final journey, the family hope his legacy will drive change. Katie Fenton, ITV News in Pontypridd.
You're watching Wales at 6. Thanks for your company this evening. Still to come, Matt is here with all this weekend's sporting news.
Yes, John, as the Welsh Rugby's Christmas derbies get underway, there's a warning over the game's future from a former Wales captain. I'll have all the details shortly.
Well, as Matt said, Christmas is just around the corner. The weather itself not looking particularly festive, with perhaps a bit of rain to contend with as we head into the weekend. We'll have the details on that for you in a few minutes.
Before all that, a consultation by Dŵr Cymru on long-awaited plans to upgrade its water treatment works infrastructure in South Wales closes in a few weeks. The company says ageing facilities need modernising to meet water quality standards and future demand. But residents in Merthyr Tydfil, the proposed locations for the new treatment works, say the scale of the development could damage the landscape and affect daily life. Isa Farfor has our report.
Welsh Water are going to build an 8 to 10 metre high industrial development here to treat the water.
They call it the gateway to the Brecon Beacons. Here in Merthyr Tydfil, natural beauty and heritage combine to tell the story of a Welsh town to the world.
You're gradually diminishing the cultural heritage.
And that's exactly why people like Emma are worried. After Welsh Water proposed this site for a major upgrade to its water treatment works.
Building an industrial-size factory here will kind of disconnect people from the countryside, and we would like to see them move this works to an area like that that would be more sympathetic to the kind of local environment. You know, once this is gone, it's gone. It can't be reclaimed in any way.
This valley has supplied drinking water to South Wales for generations. But the treatment works that sit among the reservoirs here were built decades ago, and they are now struggling to meet modern standards. Dŵr Cymru says much of the infrastructure here is nearing the end of its lifespan, putting pressure on its ability to provide clean, reliable water across the region. That's why Welsh Water is proposing a major upgrade, a new water treatment works here in Merthyr Tydfil, which, if approved, would be the largest infrastructure project in the company's history.
And we appreciate that this sort of work is disruptive. We do have to come up with a solution that does provide the people of Merthyr and the wider area with a resilient and reliable supply for the future, and therefore we do have to come to an agreement. We have to be able to supply customers with the water that we all depend on, the business depends on, and the environment depends on.
Tensions are really high here in the local community. Campaigners say the scale of this development could dominate the landscape in this area, affecting homes and quality of life.
And you know, Merthyr has tried for years to try and assert itself as the gateway to the Brecon Beacons, and now we're just kind of slamming that gateway shut. So I think that disconnect is going to make people kind of really impact on people's well-being and health.
And that's why the choice of location matters. Now a decision will have to be made, one that could shape the future of this landscape and how clean water is secured for generations to come. Isa Farfor, ITV News, in Merthyr Tydfil.
Now, our series Tales from the Shelter returns tonight with a Christmas special. The programme goes behind the scenes at Hope Rescue in Llanharan, which looks after and rehomes more than 1,000 dogs every single year. In tonight's episode, the rescue animals are treated to a very special turkey dinner with all the trimmings. Let's take a look.
As well as fostering, Pauline helps the shelter in other ways too. And this year, she's helping out with the annual Christmas dinner.
The Christmas dinner at Hope Rescue, it's an extra special treat for the dogs. They get their turkey, peas, carrots, potatoes, Yorkshire pudding, dog-friendly gravy.
Oh, nice, look at them.
I volunteered to do boiled potatoes and cocktail sausages.
Should cook me one.
I couldn't do anything exotic like Yorkshire puddings or anything. I'm not a cook, but boiled potatoes I could handle.
He's an Akita, so a decent-sized dog.
Christmas is special for everybody, and it's got to be special for the dogs as well.
This is a big lurcher.
Big lurcher.
Yeah. The volunteers are brilliant. They've used their own time in their own homes. They've cooked all their food nice and fresh. They've brought it all in today, so it's all prepared.
Medium cockapoo.
And another one. They come in a pair.
Oh, a pair.
It's amazing to see everybody come together for the dogs. I think it really shows what Hope is. It's very much a family, really, and we're all here for the dogs.
I haven't enjoyed myself so much in a long time. I can't wait for the next one.
And for Pauline, there's an extra special treat. She'll be serving the dogs herself.
So we'll go and feed a couple of dogs now. So I've got their foods out ready.
Oh, lovely.
So I'll show you how to open the kennel doors.
Right.
And then you can pop the foods in with them. You can eat their Christmas dinner.
Oh.
Often when we're seeing volunteers, it is in quick passing, you know, we're always grateful for everything they do, but to actually see them being able to interact with the dogs, it is quite emotional, actually. First little one then is Ruby.
Oh,
she's very sweet, look very eager for her food. Pauline is very much one of those volunteers who wants to help in every aspect. I'll open the door for you.
Baby.
She would drop everything in a heartbeat to come down and help the dogs. Right, you ready?
Yes.
Sometimes they try and escape out, that's all. There you go.
There you are, sweetheart.
She's like, well, this is the nice bit.
I've had so many emotions today, I just can't explain. It means more to me, I think, than it does to the dogs.
Big R's in the studio, and you can see the full programme here on ITV Cymru Wales at 7 o'clock tonight. Time for the latest sports news now.
Powering local sport in the community. Octopus Energy sponsors ITV Cymru Wales Sports Report.
Rugby and the festive rugby derbies are set to get underway tonight as Cardiff host the Scarlets at the Arms Park. But events off the field are still dominating the headlines, with former Wales hooker Ken Owens telling this programme that a generation could be lost to the game. With more, our sports reporter Matt Southcomb's here this evening. Matt, rugby still marred in controversy as the year draws to a close.
Yes, very much so, John. The Christmas derbies are really the highlight of the regional rugby calendar, but a big black cloud hangs over the game. The Welsh Rugby Union are pressing ahead with plans to cull one region in the next 12 months, but no more detail has emerged. What we do know is that Wales captains Dewi Lake and Jack Morgan will both join Gloucester next season, opting not to re-sign at the Ospreys due to all the uncertainty. WRU Council member Anthony Buchanan has also resigned after serving in the role for the last 11 years, saying that he no longer has confidence in the board of the Welsh Rugby Union. Now, you'll remember that in 2023, former Wales captain Ken Owens said that Welsh rugby was a laughingstock. Well, I caught up with him recently for an exclusive interview and asked how he feels about what's happened in the 2 years since.
We were not in any better position, and it's really affecting the rugby a lot more now. And my fear is, I wouldn't say we're a laughingstock anymore. I think people feel sorry for Wales, which I don't know if that's worse. But my fear is we're driving a generation away from the game, of supporters and players.
And you can hear more from Ken Owens and other prominent figures across Welsh rugby in Laughingstock, The Collapse of Welsh Rugby, a documentary that is live on ITVX on Monday. And moving from rugby to football, and tonight Swansea City welcome Wrexham in the Championship. It's the first time the two sides have faced each other in the league in 22 years. And they might be separated by more than 100 miles, but they are now Wales's two highest ranked clubs. In the last decade, the Swans have literally been leagues ahead of their visitors, but they now find themselves trailing by 5 points in the league table.
It's a game with a different emotional charge, but on these games we need that emotion and the passion drive us forward, and that I think that's quite important. And for that we need clarity, we need discipline, we need identity, and that's what we will need to focus on our game.
Wrexham, meanwhile, have seen their playoff hopes take a hit following a difficult run of results. They travel south tonight, having not won in their last 4 matches.
There's been so much work gone on at this club. So many supporters who've trawled up and down the country watching the team in the National League and are absolutely savouring these days. And I want to make sure as a group we do as well, and we'll only savour it and enjoy it if we perform as close to our best as we can.
Elsewhere, Cardiff City travel to face Lincoln in League One and Newport County head to Colchester in League Two. So, John, another busy weekend of sport.
Matt, thanks very much indeed. Now, a band from Wrexham are today releasing a Christmas single to raise funds for those who cared for their friends. Sam Leonard wrote the song to support the Walton Centre after his friend Daniel Parsonage suffered a sudden brain hemorrhage and had to be rushed for surgery. Daniel is still in recovery, and the hope is next Christmas you'll be home can help boost his spirits and the centre's coffers. Victoria Grimes takes up the story.
I wish upon that star, the next year will have changed.
It's a song written in gratitude, performed with a little help from some very willing Christmas elves. Written by guitarist Sam, it's all about his school friend Dan, who suffered a massive brain hemorrhage in July. He was rushed to the Walton Centre, one of the country's leading neurological hospitals, where medics saved his life.
The Walton Centre saved Dan's life. They performed 2 very high-risk, high-complex operations on Dan, and without them, he wouldn't be here now. However we can repay that in any way, we will do whatever we can. There's a lot of different fundraising ideas we can do, but they all kind of didn't involve him. Like, I got told to run a marathon, apart from not wanting to run the marathon, I also thought, well, he's not there, he's not part of that, he's just going to see an amount of money at the end. He's been as much a part of it as any of us have, and any of my friends have. He's been there from start to finish, and he's got to see just how much the level this has gotten to.
Money raised from the song will go towards the hospital's Home From Home appeal. It provides free accommodation for families so they can stay with loved ones needing urgent treatment. And the kids were only too happy to get involved.
We're just made up that Sam's chose us as his charity to support, and we've been able to involve the school in it as well. It's been great for everyone involved.
Yeah, it's been an excellent opportunity for the kids, and I really hope it's something that they remember forever.
I loved it. I went to the recording studio a few weeks after on a Friday, and it was really good.
And we danced, we threw snowballs, and that was my best bit.
Which bit do you enjoy the most?
I like the part where the last bit.
The dancing bit?
Yeah.
Go on, give us your best wiggle.
It's at the point now where he's able to come out for a couple of hours at a time, and over Christmas we've just found out that we're going to be able to get to see him in the pub like we always do every other Christmas. So yeah, that's going to be an amazing thing to see him out.
The band are hoping people will get behind the song so they can raise as much as possible in Dan's name. Victoria Grimes, ITV News, Liverpool.
Next Christmas you'll be home.
Give Kylie a run for her money. Weather time now, and Ruth soaking up the atmosphere at a busy winter wonderland in Cardiff. Has it got you feeling festive yet, Ruth?
It's, John, about as festive as you can possibly get here. The kids, of course, have broken up from school today. People are out and about, and actually I don't think I've ever seen it this busy, and I think one of the main reasons for that, of course, is it's actually quite dry out here. Who'd have thought? Of course, Christmas is next week, and we are here to talk about the weather, and, well, quite frankly, if I had £1 for every time I was asked if we're going to have a white Christmas, I'd be sunning myself on a tropical beach right now. But as it goes, if you think the definition of a white Christmas is one single snowflake falling on the 25th of December, it doesn't even have to settle, just fall, that is a white Christmas. So for parts of Aruri, the hills and mountains, the chances are it might be, but at lower levels, I don't really think so. And actually, just interestingly, the last time we had a proper picture Christmas card, white Christmas, a Dickensian theme, if you like, was back in 2010. So what does Christmas have in store for us next week? Well, I'm sorry to say it's not going to be snowy. In fact, as we head into next week, the weather will remain calm, cool and cloudy. We could see some frost and fog overnight, but on the whole, rather dull. Here are the details for this weekend.
Today sees sunshine, sand and a spell of bamboo rafting. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
I sound like a right old Christmas Grinch, don't I? But at least, as I said, it is dry out here at the moment and people are making the most of that. As we head through this evening and into the overnight stretch, it should remain generally dry. We could just see perhaps a few spots of drizzle nudging in through the Irish Sea out towards coastal areas, but I don't think you'll notice anything. What you will notice, though, is the temperatures under clear skies, cold enough particularly inland for grass frost. We could also see some pockets of mist and fog developing here too. More of a breeze and perhaps just a little bit of cloud out towards the west. So as we wake then to tomorrow morning, for much of Wales, it is going to be a lovely start to the day. There will be blue sky and sunshine. Tomorrow, very much the day for making your outdoorsy plans. But again, out towards the west, we could see some clouds starting to build. But I think for the most part, Saturday is shaping up nicely. Highs of 10 or 11, possibly a little bit cooler if you do catch the breeze. So if you're heading out and about through Saturday night, again, it's going to be a generally calm and quiet story. We could see a few showers building ahead, though, of a band of rain that will start to work its way into the west during the early hours of Sunday morning. So as far as Sunday is concerned, well, you have been warned to make your outdoorsy plans for Saturday because it's going to feel grey and gloomy. There'll be mist as well. And as you can see, pushing into the southwest, a band of rain, which could well be quite heavy at times. And of course, so many of us out and about on the roads and hitting the shops this weekend, just be careful on those roads on a Sunday. And as I mentioned, the forecast for next week is calm and quiet.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Well, if all of this gloomy weather and Christmas cheer is not for you, here's a bit of good news. Sunday is, of course, the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. From Monday onwards, the days get longer. Have a lovely Christmas.
Thanks very much indeed. Love the bubble hat. That's all for now. Mary-Claire Carey-Jones will be back with the late update after news at 10. But from all the Wales at 6 team, have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.